Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert Camo, the fantasy football counselor, in the studio or online here with Tim, a.k.a. the Bald Man. What's happening, Tim?
Not much, man. I am bald, and I just shaved her tonight. I'm looking sweet.
It looks fresh, Tim. It really looks good, and good episode here today. A great episode. We're talking about fresh faces, new places, or new places for old faces. Either way, there's a lot of moves going on with the free agency, the trades, the moves. And we got to talk about the fantasy impact from Aaron Rodgers to Russell Wilson to Juju even. We got to talk about it somewhat. We got to touch on some of the major moves around the NFL news and notes. And of course, the main thing we're focusing on is the fantasy impact. Tim, are you pumped? Are you ready to go?
Exactly. So you just hit on it too. Fantasy impact. That's what matters most to us. So yes, there have been a lot of moves, a lot of guys moving places, pick up new guys, new contracts, blah, blah, blah. We're going to hit on the most fantasy relevant. We'll probably talk a little bit about some of these other guys that, fantasy, they might just make a lateral move. It's not going to be that big a deal. We're not going to hit too much on those guys. But if you want more info, send a comment and we'll try to hit on them in the next episode.
Yeah, hit up on the comments, guys. Ask my questions. Tim's going to dive into the comments as well. He likes to dive in and hear your talking anyway. Hear the back and forth chat.
And just a little warning here. There's definitely going to be some swearing because some of these moves are really stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tim's looking really fresh, guys. And the way he stays fresh, as you can see, Tim, you're looking amazing.
Thanks, brother. I mean, I didn't do the face yet today. Might not, I'm kind of lazy sometimes. But this, oh yeah, baby, that's where it counts.
Showerline20, manscaped.com. That's how Tim stays fresh, and that's how my balls stay fresh. A little too much information, but we got to dive in. We got to be honest with the fans, Tim, don't you think?
If they've seen your chest, I can only imagine what the downstairs looks like.
Oh, yeah. Staying fresh. And I stay groomed with this skin-safe technology, guys. Manscaped.com, Showerline20. Tim, you got to try the shampoo and body wash. Amazing. So save yourself 20% at manscaped.com, Showerline20. All right, let's dive into this, Tim. Who do you want to start off with? There's so many moves. I want everybody prepared for fantasy impact. And of course, guys, if you want all the answers, get the 16-round drafts, which I've linked it below as well. Again, we could cover as much as we can here, but things change. The NFL draft's going to happen, and 16 rounds going to have all the answers, sleepers, breakouts, everything you need, optimal players drafting trust. So make sure you guys get that as well. Linked it below. Just Google 16-round draft solution. You'll see it and get it, guys. You can pre-order right now. So who are we starting off with, Tim?
So one of the biggest, one of the most talked about, but still a lot of controversy around this guy has to be Deshaun Watson.
Absolutely.
I mean, so let's make this point right off the get-go. So he has been cleared criminally of any wrongdoing. However, he still has several lawsuits against him. The NFL is still looking into it. There are charges or not? They're not charges anymore because there's no criminal intent here. However, he's still being looked at for sexual assault allegations. He may miss a lot of time, man. So he's going to Cleveland. Huge deal. What did we say? 240 million?
230 million. I think all of it is guaranteed over 5 years, I believe.
So let's just say great move. If everything turns out well and he doesn't miss any time, it is an amazing pickup. Definitely a major upgrade at quarterback. However, fantasy-wise, I don't see it helping a lot of the Cleveland players. There's a lot of mouths there to feed.
People are going to disagree with you on that. This is a huge upgrade at quarterback.
It is a huge upgrade at quarterback. I said that. I'm not doubting that. This is great for the team. But as far as fantasy goes, dude, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Need I say much more? Like, how is this really going to make anybody else that much bigger?
Well, I mean, you got Amari Cooper there, who I think should see more targets. The problem with him, he was stuck there with Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. And again,
dude, we talked about this off screen. There's no friggin' way. You used to hate Amari. You used to bash this guy. He went to Dallas. He had a few good games in a row, and then just kind of he's up and down and up and down.
Depending on his ADP, he might be value because I think Deshaun Watson could really ignite him. David Njoku's there as well at tight end. He's kind of had his share of injuries throughout the past. So again, you got Donovan Peoples-Jones. Definitely Deshaun Watson gives these guys an inflation. The question is how much of an inflation? That's what we got to look at. And then you got the running game with Nick Chubb. You got Kareem Hunt there who's going to catch the ball in the backfield. And you got to understand Deshaun Watson likes to run, right? So that may or may not affect the receivers. I think it may affect the receivers in regards to less passing attempts. So again, you got to look at Deshaun Watson in an entirely new arena, right? So things are going to change. Again, I'm not overly excited. A lot of people are giddy about this, about Amari Cooper. I'm not, but I definitely see some upside here, Tim. I definitely do.
I don't know. For me, Amari, it's a lateral movement. I don't see him being this clear-cut number one guy who's going to step in and receive 150 targets, anything even close to that. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. He might be close to that, but I still don't see it being a huge difference in his value. I don't see him automatically shooting up to a first-round pick, anything that crazy.
Okay, so let me put this in perspective. Back in 2019, when Deshaun Watson was playing, right? 495 attempts that year, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So that put him in 2019 16th in passing attempts. So I'm not expecting a whole ton of volume to his wide receivers. That's going to be a big issue. Then I pull up the Houston Texans wide receivers for that year. Let's go back in 2019. The biggest guy was DeAndre Hopkins. And you got to remember, Deshaun Watson made DeAndre Hopkins an amazing wide receiver, 150 targets, 104 receptions, but that's DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't say Deshaun made DeAndre Hopkins. I think it's a team thing there.
Yeah, for sure. But either way, Hopkins thrived under Deshaun Watson. So you got to take that under consideration. So again, Will Fuller was a second that year in 2019, with 71 targets, right? Compared to DeAndre Hopkins 150. And then there was Kenny Stills, a bunch of other guys. Kiki Cutie was in there too. Tim, remember Kiki Cutie?
I remember that name, the Cutie.
Cutie, yeah. So you look at that and you're like, okay, maybe if he just hones in on Amari Cooper, this could be big. And again, I'm not excited.
But he's not going to, man. There's too many decent guys there to worry about. And Chubb and Hunt alone are a major factor.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this offense runs. It's so weird because your mind is so set on, like, you know, the different, like, Cooper's always been like Dallas, right? And I'm just trying to wrap my head around the new faces and new places, right?
Yeah, I personally don't see this like being a skyrocket for any one individual on the team.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Again,
I see the ball being spread. I see it a great move for the team. I mean, let's face it, Baker sucked ass. Came in, you know, highly touted, and just it didn't correlate over to the NFL. He had great numbers in college, and he just couldn't put it together here. And he had really good guys too.
A lot of controversy around this, saying, I think they were saying, I don't know if it was a coach or something. I don't want to quote it verbatim. I don't know how it was sent, but the Browns were looking for an adult type QB. I don't know. I heard it somewhere. And again, with Baker out, there's some, you know, obviously some controversy and some media hype saying, well, Watson's really not an adult. And there's a chance that he could, again, with these civil suits, right? I think there's like 22. Again, I don't know the exact number, and I don't know the legalities. I think there's like 20 plus civil suits with the sexual allegations. And then you've got Jacoby Brissett they brought in as a backup, right? They signed him as well, I believe, in case Watson does in fact get suspended. It could be anywhere from 2, 4, 6, 8 games. We don't know. So there's some drama behind this. It's not nothing stands still here. It's moving. There's a lot of moving parts.
You need to be careful with him right now, because there definitely is. I would say there is a high likelihood he's going to miss some time.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, there's the fantasy impact, boom or bust. I'm probably dodging it. I'm going to stay away. And again, it's up to you guys. If Amari Cooper's value, there could be some upside there, but again, I'm not excited. I stay away from that committee with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So personally for me, Tim, I'm staying away. What about you?
Absolutely. I totally agree. The only guys I would look at, like you say, value. This is all you're looking at here is, are any of these guys worth a value pick? Hunt and Chubb, same sort of deal. You know, I'm still more of a Hunt guy because he is the receiving back. So
yeah,
if I'm going to spend anything, I'm going to spend that 4th round pick on Hunt. I'm not going to take Chubb in the 1st or early 2nd. No friggin' way. Absolutely.
And Kareem Hunt is known, you know, to outscore him in PPR, which is one of the most famous platforms, right? The most popular is the PPR. So yeah, that's that situation. Who else are we talking about here? Some new faces and places.
There's obviously a couple other huge ones. Let's hit Davante Adams before we hit Russell Wilson. So Davante Adams to Vegas.
Okay. So this is a big move, obviously, here. Now, there was some talk that, you know, I even posted about it, and I was kind of mistaken to some degree that Aaron Rodgers was greedy, but apparently the Packers did put up a lot of money to try to keep Adams, but I don't know if he was really happy there. And then he's reuniting from his college days with Derek Carr, and Derek Carr years to wow me, I'm not wowed. And, you know, it's a tough division he's in. He's stuck with Herbert Mahomes and all, and that crew with Russell Wilson on that side. But there's no excuses for the Raiders, because there's, you know, so much upside here. Hunter Renfrow finished 10th last year amongst wide receivers. He's a PPR monster. He was good. Now he's got Adams. So he theoretically should be a Carr-Adams connection, but you've got Renfrow and you had Waller's coming off a bad year last year. I think he was hurt. I got to take it back and look here. I think Waller, well, how many games did Waller?
I think he played 9 or 10, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I got him at, I see him here at 11 games last season. So, yeah, I mean, if he's back full season, is Adams going to get the volume that he had with Green Bay? And then you're getting a downgrade at quarterback, a significant downgrade. So people can debate that, you know.
I'm not saying a significant. Okay, and remember though, these guys were in college together, so everybody keeps on talking about that too. These two had an amazing year together when they were in college. But guess what? That was 100 years ago, people.
Exactly.
Yeah, really,
it was a while ago. Derek Carr's rookie season was 2014. So
thank you.
It was a while ago. Yes. Yeah. So,
anyways, these guys had an amazing connection. They both set records in the 1 year when they were together in college. Can they remake that? I don't think so. I think Carr can still air that ball out, man. He's good for 4,000 plus yards every year. There's no doubt about it. Davante's going to get a lot of that. However, Carr has always been a tight end go-to type guy. So that's not going to change. Waller's still going to be there. Waller's going to get a fair amount of catches. He's going to get some touchdowns. Josh Jacobs is going to be there. He's going to be running. He can catch. He's going to get a fair amount of the time. Davante Adams is still going to be great. He is not going to get Green Bay numbers because he's not going to see the kind of touchdowns that he saw before.
Yeah, definitely. I don't see the volume. I just don't see the volume. Do you see the volume being there? I mean, Derek Carr threw what? 600. Derek Carr throws. He threw 626 times. He throws 4,800 yards last year.
The yards are always there, man. He's got an arm, but yes, Davante Adams is not going to see 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns. This is not going to happen.
Like, look at Derek Carr. Okay, 23 touchdowns last year. The year before, 27. The year before, 21. And the year before that, in 2018, he had 19 touchdowns. He's not a touchdown thrower.
And if you look at those, most of them probably went to the tight end as far as the receiving touchdowns. Yeah. Other than that, it's the running backs.
Yeah. So that's a big point. You know, I didn't even look at that before going into this. Because I haven't, like, again, this is all new stuff right now. I'm starting to look at it now. But once we get talking about this, it puts it in perspective. And here's the thing. Adams is going to go in the end of first round. He's going first round in fantasy drafts. They're going to think, again, the mainstream are going to have him top 3-4 wide receiver, and people are going to draft him in the first round, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think he's going to significantly decline. Maybe even outside the top 10, Tim. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but maybe.
It's going to come down to those touchdowns. Does he get the touchdown numbers? Does he hit those double digits in the touchdowns? If so, he's still worthy of a late first round pick, early second. I mean, no matter what, I think he's worth a second round pick still. I think he's going to have the yardage. He's going to have the receptions. Touchdowns is going to be the big question mark here.
Well, last year, Tim, he only had 11 touchdowns last year and still finished second amongst wide receivers. Now he did.
But what did he have in yards and how many receptions?
Well, 1,553 yards, and he had 123 receptions on 169 targets. I don't see him seeing 169 targets.
No. It's not going to get that high. It's going to be pretty substantial. He can't match it. I don't think so.
And I'm just trying to find here. I'm reaching here, but I really want to find out. Like Hunter Renfrow had 128 targets. He was their top receiver last year. So again, I'm just trying to look back here to see, even going back to 2020. I'm just diving in here real quick. Nelson Aguilar was the number one wide receiver in 2020, and he only had 82 targets. And then let me look at the tight end. It was Waller with 145 targets. That was and again, even at 145 targets, now Waller's still there, and you've got Adams. I just don't see the targets being there. There's no way.
No, not the number that he had in Green Bay. No.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Fantasy impact. I'm personally not Are you drafting him in the first round? Do you care for Adams this year? I don't.
No, because I hate to say it, but I like to follow your strategy where I'm going running back first.
Yeah,
if it's late first. If it's late first and Davante's there, oh God, I got to think about it, man. It depends on who else is on the board.
What did you do last year? Did you not go robust RB?
No, I think you're thinking 2 years ago where I grabbed a couple of decent wide receivers first, but then friggin' injury.
No running back that year. You had no running back a couple of years ago.
Yeah, last year I think I took one of the top guys who ended up getting injured and missing the majority of the year. Like, just bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what other big names are we?
Okay, I mean, you got to talk about Russell. Russell's definitely the next biggest one to talk about.
All right, Tim, I know you're not as excited as I am about this one, but Russell Wilson, and you're not talking him up like he's good. This is a guy that when he's playing a full season, he's a top 5 quarterback. He finishes there. He's got the feet. You're not that high on him, and he's got 2 really good receivers. Judy was a high top Let me finish. Judy was a top prospect coming in. This guy has not got it going. He's had injuries. He had shitty quarterbacks thrown to him. Now he's got an upgrade at quarterback, and Cortland Sutton could be a touchdown machine. This could be a good offense. And the young Javonte Williams. Tim, I'm excited about this offense, and I think Russell Wilson's going to be, based on value, an absolute steal. I think he's going to see. I think he's like 10th on the consensus rankings, 11th right now. I think he'll be slept on. He's going to finish top 5 amongst quarterbacks full season in.
Listen, I agree with you. My problem here is they're young receivers. So yes, Russell Wilson is a great pickup, and he's a huge leap forward for the team. They gave up a lot to get him, so they're expecting him to be the glue. They're expecting him to feed these guys. Like you said, Javonte is a nice young prospect as well. I think a lot of this can happen. It's just going to be, can Russell get these guys on the same page with him? Definitely a huge upgrade. I mean, and I agree with you. He could be a top 5 quarterback, no doubt about it. Can Judy be that guy that's going to grab 120 catches this year? Yeah, he could, but it's questionable. So Judy, I'm concerned.
Judy last year, 56 targets, 38 receptions, 0 touchdowns, 467 receiving yards, only with 10 games. And it was a mess at quarterback between Bridgewater and Locke. It was like, there was no chemistry there. It was a disaster. They obviously invested very high in Russell Wilson. They want to win. This is the team that wants to win. I think the receivers, if healthy, I think Cortland Sutton and Judy, very capable receivers. If they stay healthy on the field, everything's got to gel for these guys. If so, this could be a very special fantasy impact and a team in general, I think.
I think it's great for the team. I don't know if this is going to be the year. It might have to wait till next year where they really, kind of define themselves as a team, but huge upgrade, definitely some potential here. If their value picks, great. I mean, if Judy's still going, I don't know, man. I mean, I'd be tempted, I guess, around the 3rd or 4th for Judy. I wouldn't go any higher than that.
I'm just going to take a look here real quickly. When I look at wide receivers, I want to see where the Conchiefs have. I'm going to pull this up in PPR. Jerry Judy is currently sitting 22nd amongst the consensus. The Conchiefs.
So that's probably putting him about 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, I think he'd be good value. Now, but again, you're in that situation where we don't really know who the wide receiver 1 is. We don't know the rapport with these guys. I mean, Sutton, could he be viewed as a DK Metcalf for Russell Wilson and the other guy like a Lockett? Because, Sutton is the bigger guy. And then again, Sutton could be a value because I think where's Sutton ranked? Sutton's ranked 33rd on the consensus. So the Conchiefs are banking on the youth here. And I am kind of leaning Judy, especially in PPR. I think he'll get more receptions. But again, both these guys could be an absolute steal. Really, this could be the steals of the draft. Honestly, one of them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. One of these guys is going to propel to themselves to the clear-cut wide receiver 1. And I'm leaning towards Judy as well.
Yeah, I think so as well. And you look at a guy like Russell, I think, where is he sitting? He's sitting 11th on the consensus, like I said earlier. They've got Jalen Hurts, Stafford, Dak Prescott, Rodgers, Burrow ahead of him. I think he could be a steal if healthy, if going gets those rushing touchdowns in there as well. It's going to be interesting to see how he does, in a new place, really.
Yeah. So let's move on to what I think is a horrible one, or things are looking rough right now for this team. And so here comes some swearing. Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck, Pittsburgh? You're going from the ogre to this clown? No, you have just doomed your team to a year of hell. That's plain and simple. If they don't have another quarterback that they're really eyeing up and Trubisky is your starter, you're dicked.
Yeah, I'm a big Mitch Trubisky hater. And here I'm a little like, my standards are high, especially for fantasy football. Now, he could be an efficient quarterback just to kind of move the ball down the field, get it done. I don't think he's a full long-term solution. And here's my mentality. And I'm wearing the Lion mentality shirt, ironically. So, Tim, here's my way of thinking, and maybe you can understand my way of thinking. He didn't do well on the Bears. Now, you can say it was a coaching issue, whatever. So he ends up on the Bills as a backup. And here's my mentality. I know Josh Allen is great, but hear me out. If you are amazing, if you're a starting quarterback, you would start over Josh Allen. Where you're like, well, how? Josh Allen's good. I know that's what people want to say. But here's my mentality. As the Steelers, I know they need a quarterback, but I'm not going to cherry pick someone else's backup. I'm with my line mentality looking for a guy who's better than Josh Allen. And I know it's hard because Josh Allen's really good, but that's the mentality. And don't get somebody's backup to start on your team. Does that make sense? You see my mentality?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And no matter what, if you are going after someone's backup, it's not Mitch Trubisky, man.
I'm not excited.
No, there's been nothing there. And Pitt's lost some of their greatest players. So now they've got, once again, they're in a situation where they've got young guys. And now you've got Trubisky with these young guys. Trubisky, who's been crap for 5 years or better, trying to get these young guys going. No, I think you've just doomed everybody on that team.
I'm just pulling up Trubisky's stats. Since 2017, he's really done nothing. I mean, from a fantasy perspective anyway, I know the Steelers, the coach Tomlin's good. They've got some good receivers with Deontay Johnson. They've got Najee Harris who can pound the ball. I think he's very talented. Obviously, they need to improve that O-line because it would be a disaster for Mitch. Because, again, Big Ben knew how to run that offense better, could get the ball out of his hands quicker. But Mitch Trubisky's absolutely done nothing. His pinnacle year was 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions with Chicago in 2018. He threw for 3,223 yards. That was his best year, man. 263 fantasy points.
I know.
He's done nothing.
That's why I'm saying, what the fuck? You've just doomed your team. You better have your eyes on someone better than this guy to come in. Please tell me you picked him up as your backup. And if you really run into some crap, he'll be your starter.
I hope
if not, then all those guys are screwed.
I hope they're looking at a quarterback they can groom in the draft. But because, again, I mean, he was a first-round, second overall pick back in 2017 out of North Carolina. Trubisky had high expectations, but he's had his opportunity. If you've had, 5 years in the league right now and you've done nothing, there's a pretty good chance you're really not that good. Period.
Within those 5 years, you've been relegated to a backup.
Yes.
You're not a guy. You're not the guy. I'm sorry.
I'm not seeing it. I'm just not excited about this. And again, that could really affect Deontay Johnson's value, which is a concern. And I'm really on the fence whether I want to draft him. I got to get him for a steal of a deal, Deontay. I'm just not paying it. And he's higher this year because last year was a bit lower and I was getting him in the third or fourth round. Now he's actually higher because he had a good year last year. He's 12th on the consensus rankings. He's getting a significant downgrade at quarterback. So it's going to be very interesting to see how high he goes and will he perform on the level last year. Without Big Ben, I'm questioning it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everybody is screwed this year on that team. The only one that might maintain would be Najee.
No, just from volume, and they're going to run the ball more, and he might be an outlet, and that doesn't. Unless again, that could affect his PPR numbers if Mitch is not checking down and throwing the ball to him either. Something to keep an eye on as well. So again, I'm not excited. We're going to see what happens after the NFL draft. Maybe if they make some solid O-line improvements and we start hearing some good stuff in preseason. Again, I'm not drafting Mitch at all. I'm more concerned about Deontay right now.
Yeah, I would be too. I'd be looking at their receivers. They had some nice young guys, and now you've just put Mitch in. He's not a guy to lead these young fellas. No way.
Yeah, those are my only concerns with the situation. Deontay and Najee Harris's reception value. That's my concern. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Okay, so to me, those were your big things to talk about. Of course, there have been a lot of other small moves, mind you, some of them with big contracts still. So let's hit on couple of these other guys that to me are just
right now.
Yeah, kind of lateral movements. So Robert Woods to the Titans.
I mean, I was thinking about this. Again, similar situation with some other quarterbacks we talked about with the low volume. You're looking at a guy that just, Tannehill doesn't throw a lot. Derrick Henry's come back. They run the ball a lot. I mean, if you look at the attempts, Derrick Henry played 8 games. He was top 10 in rushing attempts. So they're going to run the ball a lot. A.J. Brown's there. I mean, yeah, this could be a guy that's just going to be a safe pick that's just going to get it done. He's going to stay on the field, hopefully, if he's healthy, and probably finish top 20, 25 maybe if he's, but I'm not overly excited about this.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like I say, to me, it's a lateral movement. I don't see any improvement in his fantasy numbers. You nailed it. It's Derrick Henry's team, man. That's all that needs to be said, really. A.J. Brown, who cares? It doesn't matter. I mean, the touchdowns go to Henry. Yeah, you're going to get some receiving yards, top out at 1,000 potentially. It's not worth it. There's no big movements there.
And here's the funny thing. This is really weird. I don't understand the Kaships. It's like they try to save face. So I warned everybody against A.J. Brown last year, not getting the volume that he did. And he sucked last year. I don't know where he finished. Where did he finish? I think he finished 30th, 40th amongst wide receivers. I said, A.J. Brown. No, sorry. I apologize. I'm way off. Let me see. No, I'm not way off. I'm looking at 2020 here. Okay, A.J. Brown. I'm just pulling it up here in regular season. He had a bad year, man. He finished 32nd amongst wide receivers in PPR. Okay, this is a guy that everybody said was top 10. I said, no, I don't think the volume is going to be there. Sure enough, it wasn't. 105 targets, 63 receptions, 5 touchdowns, and he only played 13 games. So he missed some games. Either way, 32nd, it's pretty embarrassing considering his top 10. And then the Chiefs are saving face. He's currently sitting 7th amongst wide receivers. And then going back to the conversation we just had, look at a guy like Judy, a guy like Sutton, you get for value. They could easily surpass an A.J. Brown in fantasy points. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. There are times where, guys just don't cut it. Like, how the hell can you have AJ that high, now, especially with the addition of Robert Woods, who's in fact, I think Robert Woods is the number 1 on the team.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I absolutely believe he is.
And if anyone thinks you're crazy for saying that, every mainstream magazine rankings, last year I knew Cooper Kupp would emerge. But here's the thing. Everyone had Robert Woods ranked ahead of Cooper Kupp last year, period. Any magazine, hopefully I have my magazine behind me. Keep talking. So I'm going to find my magazine.
Well, I don't have much more to say about this situation. I mean, I've already said it. To me, it's a lateral movement. I don't see a huge improvement in his fantasy value, but I do believe he's going to show that he's the wide receiver 1 on the team. Not that he's going to take it by a huge margin.
If you guys don't believe me, here's a magazine right here. Tim, can you see everything? Okay, let me pull up my camera here again.
Yeah, I don't even look at my camera when we're talking.
You guys are listening in the car. I want you to take a look here. What I'm doing is I'm pulling up a fantasy football magazine. Can you see this, Tim? Hold up.
Yeah. Robert it kind of comes and goes in focus, but
Robert Woods is 15th. And as you can see, Cooper Kupp, Tim, 22nd on the consensus. So if you guys are listening in the car, I've got an ESPN magazine here. And again, this is across the board. Robert Woods was ranked ahead of Cooper Kupp. And now everybody is riding Cooper Kupp's stick. Why? Because he finished on top, right? Why? And here's the thing, Tim, going back, remember we had this, not arguing, we were debating. Remember Michael Thomas in 2019 had that pinnacle year. He had like this record year, amazing. He was number 1 and everyone had him on top. I'm like, decline's happening. Sure enough, he got hurt. And you said, even if a decline happened, he's still going to have enough points. But it's like, I just don't trust. He's not going to finish. And I even said it on my Instagram, Tim, he's not going to finish first overall amongst wide receivers, yet the mainstream still do. And if he does finish first, I'm quitting fantasy football. I've said it right here.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, so here's one thing that drives me nuts about you, though. Yes, a decline is a decline, no matter how it's brought about. I agree with you on that point. However, I don't like saying that because a guy is injured, he declined. Yes, it's true. However, if he played a full year, which was my point, I don't look at an injury. So if he played a full year, he would still be worthy of that first round pick, even if it wasn't that pinnacle year that he had. I think I was even saying, like, even if he lost 50 points off of that pinnacle year, he would still have probably been the wide receiver 1, I believe. So that is where I make the point. Yes, I said, I would take him for sure. Absolutely. However, missing the amount of time he did really affected him and really gave him the decline. And you can say the same about Kupp. Of course, when you hit that pinnacle, it's hard to repeat that pinnacle or be even close to it. But Kupp has been good for several years now, especially with the TDs that he gets. So I still think he's a good guy to have. Am I going to spend a huge value on him? No, because to me, it's not worth it now. It's a little too risky.
Well, one thing that's not factored in fantasy, nobody talks about it. I don't even know the proper terminology for it, but I think it's just called law of averages. I think if there's a bucket of garbage right over there, there's like a little canister of garbage, and I take this paper, I scrunch it up, and I throw. Let's say I make 9 out of 10 shots, right? The 10th shot, I may miss it. Like, it's just law of averages, right? With Cooper Kupp, and I factor in injuries. Like, you had this pinnacle Cinderella year. There's a chance. So, you get out there so many times, you get so many targets, you're increasing your chance of potentially getting hurt. So injury does play a factor in this stuff. So I can take injury. I take the fact that he had pinnacle years. I take the fact that everything was going well for the Rams that year. They might have a Super Bowl hangover. Cooper Kupp will not finish first overall. In fact, I see Jamar Chase. I see a lot of people beating Cooper Kupp this year in fantasy points. He's going to get hurt. I'm calling it. There it is.
I hate when you do that. Like a lot of your fans or guys, I want to kill you when you say because he's going to be injured.
All right, let's move on here. What's the next we're talking about?
Here's another absolutely ridiculous contract. Christian Kirk, $72 million over 4 years. What the fuck are you thinking? Are you kidding me?
I don't get it, man. Like, the guy's good. Like, he's a good wide receiver.
Yeah, he's good. Is he a wide receiver 1 top 10 value? No.
I think that shocked everybody. Even when I posted about it, everyone was like, yeah, you're right, Joe. This is crazy. Everyone was all over how pathetic this is. I mean, I don't even know let me pull up his numbers here. Christian Kirk has been in the league since 2018. His pinnacle year, This guy has not even had 1,000 receiving yard season. He's peaked at 6 touchdowns in 2020. And you could say, well, the volume wasn't there. He's had Hopkins lining up with Hopkins and better receivers, but he's not worth. What did he get paid? What was the agreement?
72 over 4 years.
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
So not quite 20 mil, probably about 18 mil.
But still, he was I looked at it. He's being paid more than right as of right now. But then guys like Tyreek Hill and other guys, it's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. This is ridiculous. What makes him worth more money on this team than James Robinson?
Yeah, nothing.
No, James Robinson should be getting 90 million then over 4. Pull your heads out of your asses. These running backs, especially great guys who take a pounding and are the workhorses, a guy like Robinson. This is why those guys need to make big dollars. They don't have the longevity because they get used up. It's like you're saying, the law of averages. And here's another guy you love to bang on, CMC. Problem is, he's overused. That's why he's getting injured now. He's on the field so often. He's taking so many huge hits.
Law of averages.
It's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. So why does a dickhole like Kirk get 72 million over 4 years? James Robinson, who was underutilized last year and can handle a much larger load, doesn't make that kind of money. Now it pisses me off. You bring in this guy and you give him more money than your great running back.
Listen to this. His deal is 72 million over 4 years. Of that, 20 million is in the form of a signing bonus, and a total of 37 million is fully guaranteed. So listen to this. The max value of the contract with incentives is $84 million. He's not worth $1 million. He can get up to $84 million with this deal.
Friggin' ridiculous.
It's like
Jacksonville. What the hell? What are you doing?
There is people starving in the streets of Los Angeles right now. There is people starving everywhere, all over the world. You can feed many small cities with this type of money, and you're paying a guy who hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiving season after 4 years in the league. There's no excuses for this. And again, I don't know, man. Can he do well though? Fantasy impact. He gets the volume, but again, he's a wide receiver 1. Is he going to be able to handle the top corners? I don't think so. They should have paid Chark that money, and Chark just moved too. DJ Chark. I would have just kept Chark. Where did DJ Chark go? I can't even keep track of all this stuff. Let me just pull this up here. DJ Chark is now with the Lions. Sorry, I should have known that. I knew that. So he's with the Lions with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I would have probably just kept Chark. Now, Chark's had his share of injuries throughout the years, but he's a good receiver. He's got some upside. I don't see, Kirk that much better than Chark.
No, and let's face it, the quarterback here isn't throwing the ball that much. So he's not going to receive those big numbers. It's whatever. To me, again, it's a lateral movement. His numbers aren't going to improve that great. He's not coming in to be this clear-cut wide receiver 150 target. It's not happening. So why give him this kind of money?
They're like burning money, Tim.
Idiots. You better use James Robinson better this year. That's all I got to say. I'm going to kill you guys.
Well, Travis Etienne, the rookie that came in last year, who had that rapport in college with Trevor Lawrence, they drafted, I think, at the end of first round, and that pissed everybody up, but they ended up getting hurt. They did James Robinson wrong. He's supposed to be back. I think he's healing this year. He should be good to go. But again, it's I don't know, man. That offense is suspect all around. I'm staying away from fantasy. I don't even know if I trust James Robinson anymore. I don't know.
I should stop saying I want to kill you about this sort of stuff, because I'm not really going to kill them. Some of you people actually need to be told that sort of stuff, which is ridiculous. But what I mean is I'm just so frustrated. It's such a stupid move. Just pull your heads out of your asses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Right, man, there's so many. I mean, are you trying to cut me off already?
No, we can keep going. I just want to talk about, I know you don't want to talk about him, but I do. I don't like him.
Hit it.
Juju.
Yeah. Once again, who cares? Lateral movement.
1 year,
not a big deal.
I think it's 1 year, 10 million. And then they've got Tyreek, they've got Kelsey. I think Pringle, a couple other guys got released. But either way, he's going to be a wide receiver 3 at best. And they got Hardman there, so maybe wide receiver 4 if you include Kelsey. Like I said, I don't see any major value. He might get a touchdown here or they might get a catch and run, a couple of big plays. He's going to have a couple possible boom games, as you know, with Pat Mahomes throwing as much as he does. He got that big playability potential. But again, for fantasy, I don't think the consistency is going to be there. I'm staying away.
No, we always tell you guys basically stay away from Kansas City. There's just too many mouths to feed. Yeah, they've got a couple of good guys that you can look at if you want to pay that huge price. I never do. I don't want to look at that huge price for these guys. Once again, the law of averages and things might happen, but I'm just not doing it. So his move to KC doesn't impress me at all. Who cares? He's a background player, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
Robert Tonyan's coming back. I mean, that could be a good
and that so sorry. Yeah, I keep on cutting you off because I just got so much to say, especially Tonyan is a good tight end. He could have done even better last year. Now that you've lost Davante, who else is on that team to grab the ball? Lazard? Yeah, okay. He might get some, he's going to get some more targets, but to me, Tonyan even factors in bigger now.
I think so too, if he's healthy. I know he got banged up, but I really like Tonyan. I got to see what his ADP is going to be at this year. Try to pull that up while you're talking here. But yeah, I think that Tonyan could be a steal. As
a tight end, he shouldn't be going till minimum 7, but I would even be thinking later.
The Concheapsis currently have him at, man, he's low because he got hurt last year. Oh man, he's going to be a steal. I don't even see him here in the rankings in the top 20.
Oh, that'll be a joke, man. Then he is a definite pickup.
21. I apologize. I got him 21. So I was right. He wasn't the 20, but he's 21 on the Concheapsis right
Okay,
now.
so when they say 21, though, they're talking 21 amongst tight ends?
Amongst tight ends, yes.
Ah, you guys are morons. Are you kidding me? The value is totally there.
And that was standard. So I pulled up PPR, so he's 20th. He's still valued. I mean, they got Evan Ingram who can't catch a ball to save his life ahead of him.
Cole 20th tight end to me is like a 12th rounder later, easily.
I don't know if that far, but
yeah, man, dude, think about a 20th tight end off the board.
Yeah,
that's super late.
Yeah, so I like Tonyan. There's a sleeper for you.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a no-brainer.
What else is here? Terms weren't disclosed, but I think Adam Thielen restructured his contract. He's coming back. Him, Kirk, Cousins they'll be back. Jefferson, that trio will be back. What else is there here? DJ Moore is coming back to the Panthers, signed a 3-year contract deal worth $61.9 million in new money. It includes $41.6 million guaranteed for DJ Moore. Again, he's good. He's not phenomenal, right?
It's another one of those lateral movements. It's no improvement in his numbers.
They've got quarterback issues. And the big one here we haven't talked about, which I think is a waste of money, but I want to talk about this, Tim. I really want to have a heart to heart. I want to lay out the truth here. And again, you might disagree. A lot of people disagreed with me here, but I felt the same way when Carson Wentz was paid that big $128 million contract with the Eagles. And I thought that was a big waste of money. Sure enough, I was right. Carson Wentz has sucked ever since. Now, Matt Stafford, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He won the Super Bowl. But Tim, they could have plugged in a Mitch Trubisky in there. Their offense was good. The coaching was good. The defense was amazing. They got Aaron Donald. They got Von Miller on the defensive side. So you got now a contract extension worth $160 million, Tim, including $135 million guaranteed, okay? That is a lot of money for a guy who's been in the league since 2009. I understand he was on Detroit, but if you're an amazing quarterback, Tim, you will lift up that team, right? It shouldn't take you 10 years and then a team switch where they go to a mega power to win the Super Bowl. But either way, it did. Congrats. He won the Super Bowl. One good year. I mean, he had some good stats throughout the years, but nothing amazing. But $160 million for a guy that far into his career is crazy.
Yeah, and that's the way it is, though, right? It's that recency bias. They picked him up. He's got a great team around him, like you said. So I don't know if I'd say a Trubisky could step in there and do the same thing, maybe but not, no. I understand you're proving a point.
Yes.
It's a lot of money, man, but that's the way the league is right now. These quarterbacks are making bank, big bank. So is it justified? No, but because he's the Super Bowl winning quarterback, I guess you can justify it in that way. And as long as they keep that solid team around him, they can get 3-4 good years again. So in that sense, yes, you can say he's their long-term quarterback and he can make it happen.
Yeah, like if you think about what makes somebody really rich and famous, right? It's the value and the rarity. There's only so many good quarterbacks in the world, right? That can do it. Matt Stafford is fully capable. He can do it. I just think it's so much money for a guy this far in his season, like in his career. I know he's young. He's 30, what is he? 34, right? But in the league since 2009 and with Detroit on a crappy team all those years. But what is it? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years in the league, Tim. And then finally he gets on a superpower team and he wins. 13 years of doing nothing.
That's just it. The team helped make him the quarterback he was that year. If you take him right now and you throw him on Jacksonville, he's ass again.
Exactly.
Okay, so yes, you can plug in a lot of quarterbacks when you have a great team around you. This is a team sport. No one individual can make it. Even a Derrick Henry, you take away Tannehill, Henry's still going to be pretty damn good, but it might be a little bit of a different situation. There's
Yeah.
no one guy that can dominate. So 160 million, it's only justified because he's the Super Bowl winning quarterback, because of the team around him. He will be a decent guy for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, it's a big market, big, they got a lot of deep pockets, so it is what it is.
Take your bank, man. You got paid. Good on you. Congratulations on winning. Yes, we thought you were ass when you were with Detroit. Yes, the team around you paid was some of that problem. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. One more thing. Cordell Patterson, real quick. I know you got some things.
There's a lot more to talk about, but like I say, a lot of them are lateral movements. Cordell Patterson. Yes, sir. Hit him.
$10.5 million to return to the Falcons, 2-year contract worth $10.5. Not huge, but he played really well when he was on the field. He can get it done receiving. Yeah. He came in the league as a receiver, did well at running back. I'd like to see what he does again this year. Again, that's a fair price. I think he's a little underpaid, but
do you realize he's been in the league for like 10 years?
Has it been that long?
Yes. And he's done nothing. His rookie year and last year were his only 2 relatively decent years. Now, there's a question mark with Ryan, too. They're looking to potentially move Ryan.
Yeah. I don't
so that opens up another situation with the quarterback. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, I think Patterson, if he gets the start, they just brought in Damian Williams is there now as well, I believe.
Don't care.
It doesn't matter. But either way, quarterback, I don't know if Ryan wants a new deal. I think he wants an extension. I don't know if he's good enough to get an extension the way he's been playing. Calvin Ridley's going to be gone for a year for the sports bets or whatever he was doing. It's just a weird offense. And then Pitts, he was a high draft capital, didn't do anything last year, and he's third on the consensus, so he's expensive. So if they get an upgrade at quarterback that can feed Pitts could be good. But again, I'm not paying that expensive price for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So to just get back to Cordell, if Ryan stays, I think he's still going to have another good year. I think Cordell is going to be a nice pickup, especially if you can get him for a value, which I don't know. He was good at catching and running the ball. So he's got that ability, man. So, but being around for 10 years, done pretty much ass. If he goes to another team or if the quarterback situation changes, right off the radar for me.
Trying to see where Patterson's sitting 41st amongst the consensus.
Okay, so he's ridiculously late round pick. So
steal.
Yeah, you know what? I would probably look at him no matter what. I still don't think that Damian Williams, even though he's been pretty good, as long as the team offensively stays pretty much the same, I think Patterson's the guy. Damian Williams does not affect it. If Ryan is there, Patterson is their go-to guy, and I think he maintains that for this year.
Yeah, Damian Williams has done nothing for a while. Patterson should be the RB1 on that team. But again, quarterback situation, suspect offense, wide receivers are suspect. Whole offense is suspect. But there's a dual threat for value. Again, sitting 41st on the consensus rankings right now. Cordell Patterson could be a steal and could be a league winner if he plays well.
Absolutely, man. Pick this guy up that late in the draft? Holy hell, yes, please, all day long.
That they don't have any wide receivers right now. All they got is Pitts and Patterson, really, and Damian Williams. That's it. This offense is suspect all around right now. So Atlanta's got a lot of question marks.
Yeah. So here's a big running back that we haven't really touched on yet either. Melvin Gordon.
Oh yeah, so free agent.
So does it matter? Honestly, that's my question, I guess, at this point, because we have no clue where the hell he might end up. But does it matter? Is he going to go to a team and excel? Is he going to go to a team and be the same? Or is he going to go to a team and be down?
He'll never excel. I'd never see him coming out and say, "Oh, I'm going to be a top 5." Right? I don't see him anymore. He's past his prime. I think he's only got, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 1,000. Pull it up here. 1,000 rushing yard season since 2015. So if you do the math, that's 6-7 years, and 1,000. That's pathetic.
No, he is capable of catching as well, though, right? So he does have that to go with it. So to me, he's still a good, potentially very good running back, but yeah, I don't see him ever being a top dog. Once again, it'll come down to value, depending on where he lands, depending on where he is in the depth chart. I would look at him, but we have no freaking clue right now.
He's going to buzzkill somebody's running back value somewhere. I hope.
Unless he goes to an ass team that doesn't really have a running back right now.
Yeah. I hope. I mean, I wouldn't even mind him in Atlanta. Just stay away from that whole committee. That would be a disaster, because Patterson has some value now, but if he ends up in Atlanta, then it's really going to mess things up. Yeah, he's going to be a pest somewhere. I just don't know where yet. So at the time of this recording, we don't know he's a free agent. Hopefully there's an answer by the time of this recording.
There's still a couple of big ones that we haven't even touched on here, man. So let's hit this guy right now. Chris Godwin just got a huge contract too, right? So, and there's another side note to this one. Fournette is a free agent that hasn't been signed yet. So there's Godwin to talk about with his contract. I don't think Gronk is guaranteed to play this year either at this point.
Agent too. Free agent.
Antonio is gone. Yeah.
Antonio Brown.
So here's a team that's got a lot of question marks. They're trying to possibly bring in
Julio Jones.
Dude, we're all over it.
There's so many. Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, all free agents right now.
Yeah. So what is this team going to do? Who are they going to maintain? Who are they going to keep? Who are they going to let go? Who are they going to bring in instead? But Godwin got a nice, huge contract.
Yeah.
Is he worth the money? Is he the number one?
I think so. I think he's that good. He's got to stay healthy. I mean, just let me take a look. What does he get? Like 60 million or something like that. So many contracts. 60 million, correct? Yep. It was a 3-year deal where 60 million with 40 million guaranteed. I think he's a really good receiver. The volume is always sketchy there with the Buccaneers, obviously, because it's Brady, mixes the ball, throws the ball around, spreads it around. They had Evans, Gronk was there. It's a mess, If he gets the volume, he's a solid receiver. Now, will I pay for him? Depends on his ADP. Again, that's why I don't go with Frankie. That's why 16-man draft solution is the thing. The real deal is because, you never know. If I can get him for value, sure. But I'm not going to overpay. And I remember a couple of years ago, they had Evans and Godwin in the top 10 that could shoot. So I'm like, nope, don't do it. Because Godwin had a big year. I think it was 2018 or 19. The year after, everyone said, oh, draft Godwin round 1 or 2. I'm like, nah, you know what? They're both going to finish outside. And I'm looking at it now. Evans, I see here, I'm going to pull this up in PPR. Evans is top 10 right now.
Evans is pretty good every year, man. So that's the thing too, right? Like you just gave Godwin a nice contract. Evans is there. They're talking about potentially Julio. Those are two big yardage receiving guys, no matter what. And you might say Julio's past his prime. He's washed, blah, blah. I disagree. I think he's still got a lot in him. He's never been that guy to put up huge touchdowns, but he's always been a guy for huge yardage.
He's fading off into the sunset.
He is. He's getting up there in his career too, but I still think Julio is better than Godwin.
You hear that, Tim?
I do.
Yeah.
Is that him fading into the
fading off into the sunset?
Wow, you're horrible with sound effects. But anyway, so yes, you've got Evans there, potentially got Julio, potentially got Gronk. What do you do with Fournette, who's a good receiving back? So many question marks right now there, man. But Godwin,
just too many targets to go around, and Julio Jones is fading off into the sunset.
That almost sounds like one of your kids' little books, a little Disney chime thing going on or something. Yeah, okay, so here's another thing then, since I mentioned Fournette too. Fournette is a free agent. This almost isn't even worth talking about, but I kind of am a Bills fan. The Bills have talked about maybe moving on. Damn it, now I'm blanking. Who's their short receiver guy?
Was it Beasley?
Beasley, yes, thank you, Beasley. I was totally blanking.
The short receiver guy.
Now, if that's what he is, he's their short yardage receiver, but very, very good. So if Beasley goes, their running backs have always kind of sucked. I think Fournette is a great fit for Buffalo.
Yeah, they need a power back. A little stronger.
Do they really, though? Do they need that power back? I mean, they got a quarterback with a great arm that runs a lot as well. So to me, a Fournette is almost like a perfect plug-in right there.
A goal line guy, too. He can get done around the goal line if he needs to and catch the ball out of the back.
Yeah, and that's if Beasley goes. If Beasley doesn't go, it'd still be nice for them to get a better running back, but it doesn't have to be a guy like a Fournette. That would be sweet, but whatever. So we've kind of hit on all of that. We talked about Gronk, blah, blah, blah.
Actually, Melvin Gordon would be a good fit with the Buffalo Bills as well. With Dennis Singletary, I wouldn't mind him there.
You're right. That would work as well. Who else do we? Oh, here's another one. Here's a has-been who made a comeback and just got a nice contract as well. James Conner. And I hate to call him a has-been because he hasn't been around that long, but he's sticking in Arizona. They just signed him to a 2 or 3 year extension or something. Like, dude, he killed it last year in touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's all he did. I'm not.
I think he was like 700 yards maybe. So the yardage wasn't huge, but he's all they've got now. And Christian Kirk is gone.
Yeah.
What else do you have? So
You have Hopkins, Rondale Moore, Kyler Murray. He was disgruntled, but I think he's staying with the Cardinals now.
yeah, I mean, Connor's probably going to be a value pickup as well. So I'd be definitely looking at him.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's all going to be in touchdowns and fairly low yardage. It very well may be, but if he's value, definitely be looking at him.
But again, he's had his share of injuries. And watch the draft. They may pick up a running back or two. And then you've got Benjamin, who hasn't done much, but he could be, a little mini breakout there, deep sleeper for you.
Yeah. Another guy that I don't really care, lateral movement, Allen Robinson to the Rams.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about Allen Robinson. And this is a guy that was a wide receiver 1 back in 2014 with the Jags. Didn't do anything last year, and he was a pretty high draft capital guy. Stayed away from him, told you to stay away from him. And now he's with the Rams with that 300. And Odell's a free agent as of right now, the time is recording. So is he going to stay? Is it going to be a 3-headed wide receiving monster core there? It's going to be interesting to see.
It is. And that's, to me, it doesn't really matter. Cooper Kupp is the man. I see this as a lateral movement. I don't see his numbers exploding. Whatever. He's just there.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything happening here, but with Russell Wilson leaving, what's going on in Seattle?
Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows.
It is an absolute mess right now.
They need a quarterback. And I'm just trying to check the latest news, see if we're up to date on everything. I know Penny's back. Rashad Penny's back to Seahawks, 1-year deal, $5.75 million. But in regards to quarterback, I don't know what's going on there, to be honest with you. They need a quarterback.
Not just that, but even their receivers are nothing spectacular. So if you bring in a mediocre quarterback, your team's done for the year.
Well, Drew Lock is there, and there was some speculation and talk that he could actually start for the Seattle.
Then they're screwed. Honestly, they're screwed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like I said, guys, there's other people we could talk about. There's a Tyrod Taylor. There's Zach Ertz, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. To me, not super fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep on track. There's so much latest news.
Gallup in Dallas still,
Yeah, there's a lot. Brady unretiring. I think he's going to win one more Super Bowl, man, to be honest with you. I think he's back for one more Super Bowl.
But this has been a long one, man, and we could still talk about more. I just don't want to kill everybody. There's more we can talk about. Hit up the comments if you want to hear us talk about and give our opinions on some certain guys, and we'll hit them next time.
So much going on, Tim. It's hard to keep up with, but I think we got everything covered. Not that this matters, but I want to, since we're talking news, Everett, Gerald Everett signing with the Chargers for a 2-year, $12 million deal. So Gerald Everett.
Start paying those running backs the money they deserve, people. I know Joe was pissing and moaning about this a few years ago when one of the running backs, it might have even been in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Was it when Bell was looking for a big contract? These guys need the money, especially if they're workhorse running backs. They have very short careers. Pay them their damn money because you use them up.
Well, Tim, similarly to Julio Jones, riding off into the sunset.
And I'm gone.
We got to call this. This is a good episode, man. I know, we got to do more of these because I think people enjoy the talk and the back and forth. So we got to do more of these during the week. I know it's off season, but during the season, we'll definitely do more. And thanks, guys.
Not to mention, you've got the Blondie.
Blondie
starting to come on. Yeah.
More on that coming, guys. It's going to be interesting. That's for sure.
She's my total opposite.
Yeah, total opposite.
I don't know why. Maybe you guys will figure it out and you can tell me, but she's my
opposite.
Total opposite.
You guys look in the mirror. It's like a reflection.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Tim. Well, thanks, guys, for being here. Subscribe. Obviously, Tim will be back for more, and we'll get you prepared. Go get the 16-round draft solution. And now you're caught up. You're up to date.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're out. We'll talk soon. Take care.